Part 1a Euro The Arrival. The sea was calm that evening, though the sky wore a veil of grey clouds. Amaan stood at the edge of an old wooden boat, watching the shoreline grow closer. He wasn't a Euro trademark sure how long he had been drifting a Euro days, perhaps a Euro, but time had lost its weight somewhere between the waves. The boat slid gently onto the sands of a quiet, forgotten coast. No footsteps, no birds, only the hush of the wind and the occasional breath of the sea. Amaan stepped out, his shoes sinking slightly into the cool, damp sand. The air tasted like salt and old stories. Ahead, nestled among the dunes and crumbling rocks, stood a lighthouse. It wasn't a Euro trademark grand or tall. Its white paint had long faded, and its windows seemed to squint in the dimming light. But its lantern still shone, steady and soft, like a watchful eye that never blinked. Amaan walked toward it. Each step felt lighter. Not because the sand was firm, but because the burden he carried, a Euro one he had nearly forgotten, a Euro, seemed to ease with every breath of sea air. The wooden door to the lighthouse opened with a sigh. Inside, it was warm. A gentle fire crackled in a hearth, casting gold light over the stone walls. There were books, maps, a coat hanging on a hook, a Euro, and a steaming cup of tea already waiting on the table. But no one was there. Amaan hesitated only briefly before sitting down. He wrapped his hands around the cup, letting the warmth seep into his skin. The silence was not empty here. It felt full, a Euro, like the hush of a chapel, or the stillness just before sleep. As the fire whispered beside him, Amaan let out a long breath. One he hadn't, a Euro trademark realized he Euro trademark been holding for years. The lighthouse had no name. But it felt like it had known his. And far above, the lantern turned slowly in its tower, casting its gentle beam across the sea, a Euro welcoming another soul to rest. Part 2 a Euro The Keeper, a Euro trademark silence. The next morning arrived not with noise, but with light. Golden beams of sunrise slipped through the cracks in the shutters, painting long shadows on the wooden floor. Amaan woke slowly, his body still wrapped in a woolen blanket someone must have placed over him during the night. But he remembered, a Euro, there had been no one there. Or so he thought. From the small kitchen area came the soft clinking of porcelain. He rose and followed the sound, heart calm, not curious, a Euro, just aware. There, standing by the stove, was a man. His beard was silver, his shoulders slightly stooped, and his eyes, a Euro, when they turned to Amaan, a Euro, were kind. He didn't a Euro trademark speak, but simply nodded once in greeting, as though Amaan had been expected all along. The man poured a second cup of tea and set it on the table. Then he returned to his own, sipping slowly, quietly. Amaan sat. The silence between them was not awkward. It was a Euro peaceful. Like two travelers sharing warmth without needing stories. Amaan wanted to speak, to ask who the man was, or why he had been led here. But every time his lips parted, something within said, not yet. So he drank. The tea was simple, floral, slightly sweet. And outside, the waves whispered against the shore, like lullabies told by time. Hours passed, a Euro, or minutes. In this place, time did not follow the same rules. Amaan rose and wandered the lighthouse. There were shelves of books in languages both familiar and forgotten. A spiral staircase led to the lantern room above, and a small ladder down to a cellar lined with glass bottles, a Euro, some empty, some sealed with faded notes inside. He touched nothing. He only observed. That evening, as the sun dipped once again below the horizon, the keeper lit the fire and handed Amaan a journal. Blank pages waited within. And still, no words were spoken. But none were needed. That night, Amaan wrote. Not a story. Not a letter. Just a Euro thoughts. Feelings. Gratitude. Questions he no longer feared having unanswered. And when he looked up from the page, the keeper was gone again. But the fire still glowed. The silence still embraced. And the lighthouse stood, as it always had, between sea and sky, a Euro, between who Amaan had been, and who he might become. Part 3 a Euro The Lantern Room. Amaan woke slowly. Not from sleep, but from something deeper, a Euro, something dreamlike, quiet, and healing. The teacup still sat warm in his hands, though he didn't a Euro trademark remember drinking from it. The soft creaking of the wooden beams above was like a lullaby still playing faintly in his mind. The keeper hadn't a Euro trademark moved. He sat peacefully in his chair, eyes closed, breathing with the rhythm of the sea. Amaan stood gently, careful not to break the silence of the room. His feet led him toward a second staircase in the far corner, one he hadn't trademark T noticed before. It spiraled upward again. Smaller, narrower steps. Steeper now, more intimate. The kind of steps that led to something sacred. As he climbed, the air grew lighter, thinner. The wind passed through thin slits in the walls, brushing his cheeks like a memory. The walls narrowed, the sky outside growing brighter. Until finally, he reached the final room, the very top of the lighthouse. The lantern room. It was shaped like a glass dome, with wide panes all around, giving an unbroken view of the endless sea and sky. The great lantern in the center stood on a pedestal, no wires, no flame, just a clear, silent crystal orb, softly glowing. It didn't trademark T flicker or pulse. It just was a source of quiet light that existed beyond reason or explanation. Amaan stepped closer. As he placed his hand on the side of the orb, it warmed beneath his fingers, not hot, just alive. And suddenly, without a sound or vision, a feeling washed over him. Memories not as sharp pictures, but as emotions. The feeling of his mother trademark S hand on his head when he was young. The silence of the stars the night he had cried alone. The wind across a hill where he had once wished for more. The quiet prayers in his heart when he didn't trademark T even know what he needed. And one more clearer than all the rest. The moment the sea brought him here. The orb held no words, but he heard something within it. A whisper not in language, but in knowing. You are enough. You are not lost. This light has always been waiting. Tears welled in his eyes, though he did not sob. They came gently, like rain on the ocean. He stayed there, kneeling beside the lantern, for what could have been minutes or hours. Time had no meaning in this room. The light did not guide ships it guided the soul. Not outward, but inward. And for the first time in many years, Amaan was no longer searching. He was no longer wandering. He had arrived not at a place, but at a truth. Part 4 Messages in Glass. The next morning, Amaan descended the spiral stairs slowly, one hand brushing the cold metal rail, the other holding the warmth left by the lantern trademark S memory. He hadn't trademark T spoken to the keeper since his arrival and the keeper still hadn't trademark T spoken to him but silence had become a language of its own. Down in the cellar, Amaan returned to the shelves of glass bottles. Some were fogged with age, others crystal clear. One by one, he gently picked them up and turned them in his hands. Inside each was a message some no more than scraps, others full pages, some simply a name. He chose one. Uncorking the bottle released no sound, but the paper inside trembled slightly as if it remembered being sealed. The note read: Asterisk to the one who found this, you are not here by mistake. What you carry can rest here, if you let it. Asterisk. Another bottle held a drawing, a small house with light pouring out of its windows. Another had a list of simple things, warm bread, the smell of rain, my mother trademark S laugh. They weren't trademark T messages to the world. They were messages to the self reminders of joy, pain, longing. Testaments left behind by others who had arrived, like him, with burdens too heavy for the road. He spent the afternoon reading, then writing his own. A single word, written slowly, purposefully, on a clean slip of paper, peace. He slid it into a small blue bottle and placed it beside the others. That night, he didn't trademark T sleep immediately. He sat by the hearth with the keeper, who now seemed more present than ever. Though they didn't trademark T speak, Amaan felt the connection between them had grown. It was the kind of friendship that didn't trademark T need time or stories. Just presence. And the understanding that neither of them was alone anymore. Part 5 The Night Sea. On the fifth evening, the lantern trademark S glow turned silver. Amaan noticed it from the kitchen window how the light pulsed gently, casting long reflections across the now still sea. The sky had cleared, stars blooming across it like whispers from beyond. The keeper handed Amaan a thick cloak and pointed silently to the beach. Together, they walked toward the shoreline. The tide had receded far, revealing a stretch of sand littered with smooth stones and seashells. Amaan followed without question. He had stopped needing explanations. He trusted the rhythm of this place. Near the water trademark S edge stood a small rowboat. Unlike the old vessel he had arrived in, This one was freshly painted and dry. A lantern hung from its bow, echoing the silver light from above. The keeper gestured for Amaan to sit. As the boat drifted into the water, Amaan turned once to look back at the lighthouse. Its glow reached across the dark, not piercing a euro but embracing. A guide not for travel, but for remembrance. The sea was calm, the stars steady. Waves rocked the boat gently, like a cradle. He felt no fear. Only release. The boat did not travel far. Just to the edge of something unseen, a euro where sea met sky and stars reflected without ripple. There, Amaan closed his eyes. And rested. No dreams. No time. Only peace. Part 6. A euro. The return. When Amaan opened his eyes, morning light had returned. He was once again in the lighthouse, wrapped in a soft wool blanket, the fire now embers. The keeper sat by the window, watching the sea. Something was different. Not outside a euro but within. Amaan rose slowly. His body felt light, yet grounded. His heart, once a tangled knot of memories and worries, now beat with quiet rhythm. The journal he had been writing in sat on the table. Its pages were no longer blank. He had filled it a euro not with explanations, but with reflections. With truths. He approached the keeper and bowed his head in gratitude. The keeper smiled a euro gentle, knowing a euro, and finally spoke. A euro ego when you are ready a euro. No more, no less. Amaan stepped outside. The beach awaited. The sky was blue and endless. The boat was gone. But he didn't a euro trademark T need it. He walked forward, not to escape a euro but to carry with him what the lighthouse had given, light that did not blind. Silence that did not isolate. And peace that did not ask for anything in return. As he reached the top of the dune and looked back one last time, the lighthouse stood exactly as it always had. But now, it stood not at the edge of the world, but at the beginning of healing.